Hi guys, how you doing? It's time for our mid-August garden tour. This is the secret garden this morning. A lot is going on right now. There's a lot of late summer bloomers. There's things that have continued to bloom. There's things I'm wanting to move, but we've been having such hot weather. It's not a good time for it. So I'll wait till it cools down a little bit, but I'll share those with you. My dahlias, I don't know if you're from there, if you can see this pretty dahlia. That's my cafe au lait, which I did save from last year. I was pleasantly surprised that it was one of them that I was able to save from the voles and gophers. So let's get started on our tour. This is perfect morning for it. It's a little overcast. I'm not sure if it's overcast or smoke from the really bad fires we're having here in California, but we'll take a good look of the garden. A close-up look. I always start right here by the studio. I'm a little bit further back so you can see my fountain. This is one of many I have around my gardens because I love the sound of water in the garden. And this is one I got from Decor Steels. I probably showed it to you before, but and to keep mosquitoes down in my fountains when the water sits, because in the afternoons I turn it off when I'm not out here, and the mosquitoes can lay eggs in here and have little larvae floating around, but get the mosquito dunks. You can find them on Amazon at our garden center, and they really work, and they're safe for other animals that may come and drink out of this fountain. So we're going along here. Here's my shade enjoying plants. Here's some hostas still. They're still doing good. They're not getting as big as I would have liked them to, so maybe they need bigger pots. I have not put them in the ground because I don't know if voles and gophers like them. And I wasn't willing to test and see until I get a handle on that. We got two new kitties, and hopefully they will be hunters and I can get my vole and gopher population under control. My bench, look, I've almost got it all cleaned off. I'll maybe even be able to sit on it soon. It needs to be swept off, and I have an old quilt that I throw on it to sit on, so I'm looking forward to that. It's been so hot out. I only have the mornings to really work out here really quick and try to get things tidied up or weeded, or etc. But then it turns super hot in the afternoons, and I have to go in and do other things like my painting tutorials, which I'm ramping up on those, and we'll have many more to share soon. I got some fall painting lessons coming up. So over here, right here, and I'll get closer, is foxgloves. These are foxgloves that reseeded themselves, and they will overwinter. So I'm going to dig them up when it gets a little bit cooler and transplant them to areas that I want them. I could leave them here, but they would be kind of blocking the view of the flowers behind. And maybe that's not a big deal because it's like you're walking around and discovering things around every corner. So we'll see what I decide with that. Behind it is, I had planted my jasmine. I can't remember what kind of star jasmine there, and a friend gave to me. And hopefully it'll take off. I had it in a fabric pot. It did not do well. I don't think I could keep it watered well enough in it because I was afraid to put it in the ground because of the voles and the gophers. But now I'm thinking I could just get another one from her. She starts them all the time. So I went ahead and put it in the ground and risked it for this time around. And that's what's back there. I also put my apricot hollyhock back there, and it bloomed really pretty but short because I kept it in this little pot way too long. But I definitely know I want more. I was debating, and I think I mentioned this in my last video, the one at the beginning of August. I wanted to put maybe a limelight hydrangea here. That would be beautiful. It would block the view down to my neighbor's backyard, and it would provide flowers this time of year when those are really in full bloom and looking gorgeous. I found two on sale at Home Depot for like 20 bucks a piece, and so I'm still debating that. I could just put a bunch of the hollyhocks there, and then by this time of year they're blooming really pretty too. So we'll see what I do. I'm always changing my mind when something new in my brain comes through, and anyways. I mentioned last time that these, right now, black-eyed Susies are doing beautiful, but I'm going to remove them from the garden, put something different here. These were volunteers, and I left them to go ahead and bloom. There's not as many as there were because the voles and what have you did eat them. And so these are what's left, and I've been deadheading to keep them blooming. But I want the back garden to be mostly pinks, purples, etc. So that's what I want. Okay, let's take a little walk. I'm going to go over by the bench. Okay, I'm in front of the bench facing my centerpiece. Just look, these petunias have not quit. I have not deadheaded them. I told you before these were just a little grocery store 6-pack. And I picked up because at the time I was starving for flowers already, and I knew I could pot them up and then put them out and they'd get some really pretty plants. And I don't know what variety they are, but they just have performed beautifully. And I'm going to get up closer to another one that's planted in here that is a seedling from some of my plants last year, my petunias last year, and it reseeded, but it cross-pollinated and has made the most interesting petunia. Let me see if I can just zoom up to it. Look at that, all the bicolors on it. It's white and then the pink, and just gorgeous. I just love it. And that's the fun of things reseeding themselves, and the petunias especially. I have a bunch of window boxes up on my deck, and I probably will show you a brief video of those that are all volunteer petunias because I did not dump them out, or I should say I had hanging baskets of petunias. I did not dump them out. I just stuck them in the greenhouse at the end of the season, and then the petunias must have reseeded back into them, and then this spring they started to grow in those pots, and there was a bazillion. So I started dividing them out and putting them in their own pots, and then put them into window boxes, etc. And they have done just gorgeously. Now my lavender lady surrounding my centerpiece is doing wonderful. I have not had to prune it back at all. This stays very short and compact. That's why I love it. And it has bloomed nonstop. I can see a few that probably could use some trimming off, some deadheading, but it has just grown fantastically. Come late fall, I will prune this back a little bit, and it will come back next year. I need to also divide some or start some from cuttings because I want to continue it all the way around. On the opposite side of this, I'm not sure how well it will do because that's shadier, and we all know lavender loves the sun. And I'll get up close really quick. Now here's another volunteer petunia. The seed fell onto the ground at the base of this centerpiece, and look, isn't that gorgeous? It took it a while. This is August before it bloomed, but that's okay. So many other things are fading that it's just a bonus in my garden this time of year to have something like that popping through and blooming. I wanted to show you that fantastic reseeder that cross-pollinated. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at this thing. And look at how interesting even the buds are, how it's just opening up this purple striation. And this is just, like I said, a volunteer that, let me see, is this purple one the same? Isn't that funny? Look at this one's all purple. It's the same plant, but these are all bicolored. Isn't that gorgeous? Love it. Now, I have to say, my Icelandic poppies, I put those in there for early spring bloom. They have continued to bloom all summer. That is not something I anticipated, but next year I think I will get more or grow some more from seeds. Now, let me zoom out so you can see. See, it's the orange flower right over there. Orangey. It looked more pink before it was up against the purple petunias, but they have just kept on blooming. So I am going to get, like I said, different colors, and I am going to put them throughout my garden since they obviously love it here. So let's see, which direction do we want to go? Let's go back and go back around by the bench again. Now this is just, let me get it there, something that somebody pulled out of their chimney. It was a piece of terracotta. I don't know what it's called, but it was busted, so I just planted some creeping sedum in there, different types. I do have some hens and chicks in there, but it looks like the creeping sedum is taking over, and that's fine. I just love the two colors on top of each other, one on top of the other, and it's just doing great. And it gets just sprayed every now and then, and they're doing beautiful. I did plant some hens and chicks at the base around with some rocks, and I see one's doing okay. Now here I reseeded this after I pulled a bunch of stuff out, and I mostly have weeds right along here. So I'm going to pull those weeds out, but I did get some cosmos, little cosmos starts are coming up. We usually don't get our first frost until mid-October, so hopefully I'll get also an Indian summer this year, just like that. We've also had our first heavy snow, 2 feet, in the 1st of October, so you never know how long of a season I'm going to get. So we'll see if we get any flowers from those. I will come in and take out all those weeds there and just get rid of them. My tomato I put back here, whoops, did something there. My tomato is going bonkers, and so is some volunteer morning glories. They're actually trying to overtake my little tool shed there. And it's okay. I kind of like the wild look. I keep them deadheaded. Oh, look, I didn't even notice. I have a black-eyed Susan vine climbing up in there. Let's go see it. Can you see that in there? It's climbing up the tomato cage and the back fence line over here. I don't know if you can see that down there. It's kind of obscured by all the leaves. So I should trim back some leaves so you can really see them. But I had planted that there and it took off, but it wasn't blooming. So I guess it really likes this heat we've been having this week. And so, looks like I've had deer in here and I didn't know it yet. I did see 2 beautiful bucks this morning in my back, and a peach that they chomped on. But I'm finding the other damage they did now. Okay, so there's the tomato. Let's look down. And this is my white swan echinacea that I did a division of, and it's still doing pretty good. It's not done as well in the pot as it does in the ground, but the last time I put one in the ground, the gophers ate it. So until I get them under control, I guess pots is how it's going to go. Look at this beautiful white petunia. I think this is white something supertunia. And I had it up on my back deck, and I put it down here to fill in some color. So that's what that is. The rose behind it is Princess Alexandra of Kent. Now we're over by my tool shed, and we're looking towards, well, back there's the chicken pen, but right here I have my Hyde Hall, one of my Hyde Hall roses. It's in one of those fabric pots. I need to find it a nice big. I've been trying to get those barrels I got at Tractor Supply, and I haven't been able to get more. They haven't, you haven't been able to buy them or order them, which I really like them. I may have to go back to the oak wine barrels and just line the bottoms with wire. That way if the bottom gets eaten out or rotted out, then the voles can't get up in it, because the voles did eat my tree peony that was in one, and they were able to get up because the bottom had rotted out. But anyways, I'm trying to figure out big containers that I really, really liked. I really like the ones from Tractor Supply, but getting them's been a pain since July. So I don't know what I'm going to do as far as a large container. Anyways, I like the uniformity of having a lot of the same. I'd also thought about getting the same buckets like I have on my back deck, and they're called bushel baskets, so they're metal bushel baskets. So, I wanted to show you just a second. Here is my cafe au lait. This is my cafe au lait dahlia, the second bloom. First bloom has already come and gone, and I trimmed it off. So it's been doing good. Even with this heat, they've been doing good. And right next to it, let me see if I can scoot you over there. Zoom out a little. Oh, nope, it's down below. If you watched my foxglove deadheading video. It was just a week or two ago, maybe 3 weeks, time's been flying. I showed how I cut it all the way back, and you can get a rebloom. As you can see right here, it's shorter, much shorter, but it's still really pretty in the garden, and the hummingbirds absolutely love it. So I'm going to swing to our right, zoom back out, swing to the right, and my poor purple rooster Monarda is just getting swamped by the volunteer morning glories. And so I'll come in here and trim it back a little. Some of it already needed to be deadheaded, but I haven't been out here to really notice. I noticed this morning when I started to come do this video. I'm going to swing around. There is the centerpiece fountain from another angle. And right next to it, or right behind the purple rooster, that is the Sparkler Series Cleome. And we'll walk over that direction in a minute. And it's doing really pretty. There's 3 or 4 of them there. And it's just getting started. They're another late summer bloomer. And I started those inside, which I think that's going to have to be my ticket with Cleome. But I'm going to get you up close because it is so pretty. Isn't that such a pretty color? And it just keeps blooming up and blooming up. And I see 2 more buds. Let me get around my camera. I see some more right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 more buds. And I've got another plant here, another one back there, and another one over there. So those are going to continue to give me flowers on through the fall, which will be a nice filler. So this has been a really great grower. So I'm going to definitely redo this one next year and put it throughout this garden. This year was really a test year because I was revamping this garden and I'm seeing what's working, what's not, where I want wet, and how. And here's Olivia behind. Let me zoom back out. Olivia is right here. And this is Olivia Austin Rose. And it's getting swamped by the morning glories too. They're volunteer morning glories and they will take over if you let them. And usually I keep up with them, but like I said, it's been so hot and this last week has been a very stressful one. So I haven't been able to be out here. But that's okay, everything's getting better. So let me zoom around to the right a little bit and we'll look down. And this is a couple dahlias. Now, though all the ones back here, I didn't know what they were. They were ones I had hurriedly dug up last fall and overwintered. And this is some ground cover I absolutely love that I need to get into the ground, and it's starting to root through in the dirt because it wants to grow. And I need to get it in the ground. But these ones are getting ready to bloom. So I don't know. I had Thomas Edison and others, really pretty ones. I also had some other cafe au laits, like the Cafe Royale, and I can't remember the second one, Cafe Rose. So some of them may be those, and etc. So I don't know exactly until they bloom. And now I'm finding peaches in my garden that have not fallen off the tree, but they have been bitten by deer. So I need to set up my deer deterrent. Sometimes it's just a fishing line across the opening that they come in. Works fine because I don't like that hitting them. So let's go back. I'm standing on this side of the centerpiece. And we're going to go along here. Let me back up as much as I can. The Monarda is still doing beautifully. I do deadhead it. I deadheaded a little bit yesterday. I could see where I need to do some more dahlias in pots. These got a late start, so that's why they haven't started blooming. The ones in the front are blooming beautifully, and we'll do another video for that. So I'm going to continue to get flowers from them from now until, because they all have buds on them, until frost. And then I've been tempted just to put the whole pots into the basement and not dig them up, but if I can, I would like to divide them and get more. And my Melissa Dahlia there, which does need to be deadheaded, that has bloomed continually already for months. It's a very early bloomer. I think I'm going to look up early bloomers. Also, the ball dahlias are so gorgeous. They're not as big, but I think they bloom a little earlier, and they just would be something I'll buy containers for, because the voles love them. And I see a volunteer sunflower right there. That needs to come up because I don't want it there. And some more work to do along here. I'm getting some echinacea, some real pretty echinacea. My sweet peas are doing fantastic. I gave them a shot of fish emulsion, and they loved it, absolutely loved it, and they've just put out even more blooms. Even with this heat, they've just gone to town. I picked a bunch of bouquets this morning, or a big bouquet, I should say, not a bunch of them to make one big bouquet. So we're going along. I'm still standing beside the centerpiece, and here is a bunch of morning glories that I have on a small tower. I have a volunteer tomato there. It looks like it might be a super sweet 100, and I hadn't really noticed it until all of a sudden I saw tomatoes on this arbor, or obelisk, and so I'm going to get extra tomatoes. I'm not going to pull it out. I'm going to let it grow along. I have sweet peas on there. There's the morning glories and that volunteer tomato. So it's all good. I love it. Over here is my James Galway rose, and it's not done as well as it usually does. So I don't know if I didn't feed it enough. It really suffered from soft fly larvae this spring. It almost decimated the leaves, so that could have been why it had a hard time getting started. Usually this one blooms nonstop all summer long, and it's struggled. So maybe I need to pot it up, maybe I need to replace the soil. I'm not sure what, but I'll do something with it soon. Okay, now all of my delphiniums are done. Let me show you the purple one. You see the purple right there? It's all dried up, pretty desiccated. Let me get it zoomed in for you. But instead of cutting it back to try to get a second bloom, because I do not think I'm going to have enough of a season to do that, I'm letting it go to seed. Now this one, I looked up the name. It's Pagan Purple. So that one is definitely one I want to save seed from. Whether or not it's cross-pollinated with the pink one that was next to it or close by it, I don't know. But no matter, whatever I get from it will be beautiful. Let's see what's going on in the veggie garden. Now we've walked around to the veggie garden entrance right here. Right here is a volunteer cosmos. And I think that is one big plant. Let me look. Yep. One big plant is the pink one, and then the white one's coming up amongst it. I do need to deadhead it to keep it blooming, or I could save seeds from some of these. I'll deadhead it because I've got time. But just gorgeous right there. There's also sweet peas right here that I've been picking bouquets from. So I need to give this all a big shot of the fish emulsion so it keeps on growing together, because when there's that many plants together, they kind of hog each other's resources. So just love that there. I definitely want to do more cosmos next year, and that's on my list. I meant to do a lot more this year. Well, we just won't go there. Things happen. So here is some cherry tomatoes in here. Super sweet 100. I have Camp Joy, and then I have regular sweet 100, not super sweet. And then I have a cucumber that came up. I didn't want all tomatoes in here. I had one tomato, and then one tomato, and then I had cucumber. Well, the cucumber never came up. And then now look, the cucumber did come up. Oh my goodness, I have a big cucumber right here I need to pick. So I need to bring my clippers out here and pick that. Another big one. I haven't been paying attention, and with this heat, they've been going crazy. These are supposed to be the small Persian fingers. And let me see if I can see that in there. Let's see if I can pull this aside. Can you see this? These are supposed to be the small snacking cucumbers. I guess I could just pull this one off too. I like to cut them because it just makes it cleaner. But So I better get in there and look and make sure I don't have any others. And I've not been having cucumbers on my salads because I didn't think we had any ready, and I was dead wrong. Okay, so those are the cherry tomatoes. Going this direction is my Durrani Lebanese squash. It's a light green skin, delicious. It's not real watery, and I seem to have plenty in there on that to pick. I've been using my dehydrator and drying them. I slice them, I got in my food processor and dry them, and they dry beautifully, so they'll be great for soups and stews this winter. I also freeze some. I freeze it grated for zucchini bread. Oh my goodness, I see a big one in there. And whatnot. Let me get you in closer so you can see the color of them. They're not a dark green. Oh, I see a, oh my goodness, I have been out here. And they've gotten away from me. But that's okay, they make good zucchini bread. You see the color, it's the light green. Looks like that one and this one over here has sun scald, but I need to get these big old ones off. And they stay meaty, they don't get pithy, so it's one thing I like about them. So, but these definitely need to be picked. And that one huge one down there will have to be grated for zucchini bread or something. Oh, that does sound good, huh? Zucchini bread. I haven't made any yet this year. Okay, and the next one is my Castelluto Genovese. That's the most fantastic sauce tomato you can ever use. I do, and I have a recipe on my website for oven roasted marinara sauce, and I use these, and also the San Marzanos paste tomatoes. That is just wonderful. I don't know if they're a paste tomato. Anyways, they're the ones that you make sauces with. But I'll show you the odd shapes of the Castelluto's Genovese. There's also another one that someone emailed me and said they grew the other one. Castelluto is the variety, and then there's different ones of them. But you see the odd shape, how they get heavily ribbed and stuff. You think, how in the world am I ever going to peel those? But when you peel them the regular way of dipping them in the hot water, etc., it comes right off. But that is that for sauces. I need it to keep on growing. This heat should be wonderful for it. And over here is Brandy Boy. My Brandy Boy tomato. Got quite a few in there. I threw one over in what used to be my compost heap on the other side, and it's got tons of fruit too. I need more lettuce going to seed, and I really need to pick that or gather the seeds. But I got, let me see, quite a few tomatoes. But you know, Brandywine is such a beloved variety for its flavor, and this is a hybrid of it that is supposed to have all the taste and flavor of the Brandywine, but better production, because a lot of people complain that Brandywine just doesn't produce a lot of fruit, and this one is supposed to be better. Now over here is my green beans. Green beans and peppers. This first year I got peppers because this is a lined bed. No gophers could get into it, and voles. And the green beans, my green beans have just not done well. So I'm going to give them a good shot of fish emulsion. I don't know why. They grew into nice plants, and then I haven't had any production yet. But I have noticed the bees that we were getting are gone. I still have carpenter bees, a few bumblebees, but I have not had the bees this year like I normally get. So I may need to come in here and hand pollinate things. So it's just kind of scary, just the lack of pollinators this year. Okay, so there's that bed. Like I said, this is the one bed that is lined. And this whole garden area, vegetable garden area, is going to be redone because I found a better use of space and just the layout. I'm going to change the layout. So. Oh, I have one more tomato to show you. Hold on to your hats. And this, well, just so you know where we're at, this is the obelisk arbor that you see in the secret garden. And it comes down. That's a big, huge step there that you come down. But here is my Camp Joy, one of my Camp Joy tomatoes. Now, this is the same one as the one over there that we had at the beginning, in the middle. And you see the difference? That one, this one is full of fruit that's ripening. The other one I can't see hardly, I see blossoms but no fruit yet. So that other one, there's a huge tree above it that shades it quite slightly, which I didn't realize that until after summer began and I could see where the sun was hitting. Whereas this one gets really good sun early, and even though there was plants on this side of it, they didn't really shade it. And so there's the difference between the light, because they are not that far apart. They're only like 6 feet apart, and this one is producing so much better. Plus, I have to admit, this is where I had my compost bin last year, so this probably is much more nutritious soil. So there's that too. So it shows you the benefit of good compost. Okay, I think that's it for our gardens. I hope I didn't confuse you too much. Let's scooch back and trick you around. And there's my Melissa dahlia from this side. Isn't it gorgeous? Needs a bit of deadheading, but I have like picked from it, and it just keeps on going. I can't remember which dahlia farm I got this from, but just put in Melissa dahlia and you'll find it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this garden tour and I wasn't too much all over the place. And I am planning in the secret garden, I'm going to put in some flowers that are later blooming, like for now, like I was saying about the hydrangeas and more of the cleomes. I'm digging up some boxwoods that are in areas that are in the way of things. I'm going to put them in big containers so I can have something that's evergreen back here. So pretty soon I'm going to show you a video of what it looked like back in December and what it looks like now, and you'll see why I want to put something in here for winter interest and looks pretty during that barren time, even when there's no snow on the ground. When there's snow on the ground, there's not a whole lot you see, but when there's no snow on the ground, I would like something that looks pretty. Here is just a winter view of my secret garden. You can see in the center here where I had my water tub is now, I've got it planted with violas. Alrighty, I hope to see you in my next video, which will probably be my front garden this time of year. See you later. Just a side note, little PS on this video. Remember I told you that I gave my sweet peas a shot of fish emulsion and they just exploded in bloom? Look at this. This is pandemonium. This has been blooming forever, and I've been picking and picking and picking. And look at it, it's still going. And this is August, well, today's the 19th. So, wow, it's just been a real performer. And maybe it just really likes this spot. It's not competing with anything else. So, who knows? So, I know that next year I will put more sweet peas back here in this area and enjoy them. Enjoying my sweet pea bouquets. And this one is fading a little bit. This one is chocolate flake. And I was just letting it go to seed right now so I can collect the seeds for this one while I enjoy the pandemonium bouquets. So that's why that one's looking a little more faded, but still beautiful. So that's it, friends. One more time I say goodbye.